Good morning children. Welcome to ninth session of first chapter, that is index number. Practical sums of this chapter we have already completed. In today's session we will do theory part. Theory, it's very important of this chapter, either 2 marks or 3 marks, normally one question. In board it comes. So let us start with the theory part. First topic, that is uses of index number. Here 10 uses are, of course you have to remember maximum 6. Why? Because if question comes of 3 marks, then you write 6 points, and if question comes of 2 marks, you write 4 points. One thing more, in statistics, any theory question, no need of explaining anything in detail, simply each and every point write in 1 or 2 sentences only. Now let us start with the first use, that is wholesale price index number. This index number that indicates the changes in wholesale prices of commodities. Industrialists, businessmen, investors, etc., they use these index numbers in framing their economic policies. These index number that gives real picture of the market. Now second is, that is cost of living index number. This index number, it is useful in determining the DNS allowance, that is DA, bonus, etc. for working class people. Even it is useful to study the effect of changes in the prices of different classes of people. Even this index number helps the government in deciding taxation policy. Now third is, that is index number of industrial production. This index number measures the relative percentage change in the industrial products. It indicates the industrial progress of a country. Fourth use, that is index number of imports and exports. This index number shows the changes in imports and exports in the current year as compared to some standard year. Next, index number of national income. Now this index number is useful in studying the economic progress of a nation and in comparing the national income of our country with those of other countries. Even this index number, it's useful to government in deciding targets of plans. Next, index number of investments. Now this index number is useful to know the changes in the prices of shares and stocks. Next, index number of prices. Inflation in different states that can be controlled with the help of these index number. Institutions like Chamber of Commerce, Labor Union, they construct the index number of prices and estimate the economic conditions. Next, index number of agricultural production. Like industrial production, this index number shows the progress in agriculture field and helps the government in framing suitable agricultural policies. Ninth, that is index number of employment. This index number, it is useful in framing the policy to solve the problems of unemployment. And the last is, that is index number of raw materials. Now this index number, it is useful to businessmen, industrialists and economists in adjusting their policies regarding production, sales, etc. Another statement which is important, that is index number is called barometer of economic activities of the country. Now it's connected with the uses, that's why I have taken just now. Now here we know what barometer works. With the help of this barometer, it records the changes in weather condition and it helps us in forecasting rain, storm, cyclone, etc. Same way, by seeing these all uses of index number, Now this index number also helps us to know the changes in the economic activities of a country, and it guides us in framing economic policies for future. That is why this index number, that is called barometer of economic activities of the country. Our next topic, that is merits and demerits of fixed base method. We have already done it. What is fixed base index number? So of that, merits and demerits. Now first, let us go with the merits. Three merits. Number one, that is uniformity. Now as the value of fixed base remains constant, so the uniformity is maintained for all the years. Number two, this method is useful for long-term comparison. Number three, it's easy to understand and even calculations are also less. Now come to the demerits. First demerit. Now with the change in taste, habits and customs of people, so many new commodities are required to be introduced, and some commodities are required to be removed, which is not possible in fixed base method. Number two, the weightage of different commodities are required to be reconsidered, and this is not possible in fixed base method. Number three, it's difficult to select a normal year. And the last one is, that is, the results are not reliable if the base year is not selected properly. So here 3 and 4, merits and demerits of fixed base method. Next topic, that is merits and demerits of chain base method. Now first, merits. New commodities can be introduced and outdated commodities can be removed with the help of this chain base method. Why it is to be done? Because of with the changes in taste, habits and customs of people, many new commodities enter in the market. So that can be introduced with the help of this chain base method. Reason? Because previous year only is to be considered in this, and new commodities very easily with 1 year before we can use. Next, that is prices are compared with the prices of immediate preceding year. Hence, it is useful to common people and businessmen. Next, as the immediate preceding year is taken as the base year, so the problem of base year does not arise. Fourth point, this index number obtained by this method, it is free from seasonal and cyclical variations. And the last one is that this method is useful in studying short-term changes. Now come to demerits. First demerit is, in this method, if there is any mistake in the calculation of index number of 1 year, then that mistake is carried on in all the subsequent years. This is the main drawback of chain base method. Number two, the weights are to be calculated every year, and hence this method consumes more time, more labor and more money. Third is, this method may not be used for long-term comparison. And the last one is, uniformity is not maintained because previous year, every year, preceding year is to be taken as in the calculation, so uniformity is not maintained. So these are the merits and demerits of chain base method. Now next topic, or in the form of statement, board point of view, very important. That is, Fisher's index number is called an ideal index number. Now this question can be asked in the form of statement, can be asked in the form of simple 1 mark question, 2 marks question or even 3 mark question, and many times it is asked. Now for this there are four reasons why Fisher's index number is called an ideal index number. Number one, the quantity of both year, base year as well as current year. These both are taken in the calculation for constructing this Fisher's index number. If you remember, IL and IP, root of these two, we find Fisher's index number. So both are considered in this. Number two, the index number that satisfies both the important fundamental tests, that is time reversal and factor reversal tests of index number. Now what is this time reversal and factor reversal? That you will do in college, not now. Just now simply you remember these both the tests even can be satisfied with this. Number three, geometric mean is used to calculate this index number, which is the best average for the construction of index number. Root we find, so geometric mean. So because of that reason, even Fisher's index number is ideal index number. And the last one is this index number, it is free from bias as it balances the demerits of Laspeyres and Paget's index number. So here these are the four reasons because of which this Fisher's index number is called an ideal index number. Our next topic, that is types of weight. Now there are two types of weight. One is implicit weight, another is explicit weight. Now let us discuss in detail what is implicit and what is explicit. Now first, it is implicit. Another name of implicit, that is indirect method also we call it. Now according to this method, the weights are determined as per the number of varieties of different items selected in the construction of index number. Even this method is called implicit method, as the weights cannot be accurately quantified. While explicit weight, now this is a direct method of assigning weights. So it is known as direct weight also. The weights of items are expressed numerically in proportion to their importance. In this method, the weights of items are determining according to consumption, sale, production, or the expenditure for that item. So we can say that weights are given according to the importance of the item are called explicit weight. Last topic of the chapter, that is uses and limitations of cost of living index number. Let us start with the uses. There are three uses. Number one, that is the cost of living index number for each class of people exposes the economic conditions of that class, with the help of which the wages, dearness allowance, bonus, etc. can be fixed. Number two, at government level, these index numbers are used to frame taxation policies. Number three and last, that is the changing purchasing power of the currency can be measured with the help of this cost of living index number. Now come to the limitations of cost of living index number. There are four limitations. Number one, the index number constructed for one class of people cannot be used for another class of people. So the cost of living index number is useful only for one class of people for whom it is constructed. Number two, the index number constructed for one class of people of a certain region is not useful for another class of people. Now come to the limitations of cost of living index number. First limitation, the index number constructed for one class of people cannot be used for another class of people. Thus, the cost of living index number is useful only for that class of people for whom it is constructed. Even the index number constructed for one class of people of a certain region is not useful for the same class of people of another region. Next, the cost of living index number that represents the average change in the expenditure of families of certain class. So it fails to represent the changes for an individual family. However, it can be used as a guideline to study the cost of living of people. Next point, the error in the selection of base year also affects the cost of living index number. Next, the error in the selection of commodities that makes index number ineffective. If commodities are not properly selected, then index number fails to reveal the facts. Same prices also. If prices of commodities are not properly collected, then the index number fails to represent the real pictures. So here, uses and limitations of cost of living index number. With this, our index number chapter that ends. Now here is the homework. This time theory 4 questions I have given you as homework. Please write that. This is an end of first chapter index number with this session. Thank you.